Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while, but on today's menu we have Liberian potato greens. So I'm going to show you how to cook it two different ways. The first method is going to be Liberian potato greens with fever leaf. Fever leaf is an herb in the basil family that's used to flavor the potato greens. And then the second version is just regular Liberian potato greens. Both of them were equally really good, but the way it cooked was a little different, so you can see which method that you like and then you can do that. So we're gonna start off by our potato greens. So I bought this potato greens already pre-cut, and make sure you wash it thoroughly. So this is the fever leaf. I'm going to wash this until the water runs clear. When cooking with fever leaf, it's not a 50-50 kind of thing. I remember eating fever leaf when I was growing up. It was almost like an 80-20, 70-30, 90-10 kind of thing. So what I did was start off by parboiling all of my meats. I used hard chicken, turkey, I think some cow skins, cow foot. Once that's done and tender, then you're gonna set that to the side, and I'm going to start prepping my potato greens. I added the potato greens directly into the pot, and I'm going to steam it, posh it, that's what it can say. I'm going to steam it until it runs a little flat, and then I'm going to add my protein on top of it and cook it. I like these two methods really well because it doesn't produce a lot of water. There's another way of cooking potato greens where you make your broth and you add your potato greens into that broth. I've found that potato greens will produce its own natural water, and when you add it to the broth, it just makes a really long cooking time. Potato greens doesn't need to cook for that long. It's not a tough green like cassava leaf. So I like these two better because I'm able to control the water and avoid my potato greens being on the watery side. So if you cook potato greens and you find out, hey, this is really watery, these two methods may work best for you. So after steaming the potato greens, I then added my cooked proteins into that pot, and then I'm going to let everything cook together. I'm going to season with salt, black pepper, garlic powder, pepper, and that is it. And then you just reduce the heat because you do not want it to burn, and then let it cook. After about 10 to 15 minutes of cooking, I'm going to then add my red palm oil. Now this was a very small batch that I was making, maybe about 4 bags of potato greens, so I wasn't cooking for about an hour plus long. Well, it did cook. The meats cook for a long time because they were tough, but the potato greens, they need a long time to cook. So as you can see, you see the water spots throughout the potato greens, right? That's just about how I like it, or I was okay with. And then I added the palm oil into the potato greens, and I'm going to let that fry for no more than 10 minutes, and then your potato greens is done. So let me recap the steps. Wash your potato greens, steam your proteins, add your potato greens into the pot, steam that, add your blended onion, pepper, mix onto the top, season that well, add your proteins back into the potato greens, add your palm oil, let that fry for about 10 minutes until it runs tender. Taste the potato greens. Every potato greens is different. When you taste it and it's a little tough, reduce the heat. It does need to cook for a little while, but it shouldn't be tough if you steam it. So here's the final result. This was really, really good. This was my first time making it this way. I typically like the other ways, but they all produce the same results. And I was just pouring it, and then my family and I ate it with rice. Now the second method, this actually kind of happened by mistake. So here is the potato greens. Here's what the final looks like. You will see that there's not a big difference in what the first one looked like versus what this one looks like. They look about the same. They look like potato greens, but I think I like this one better because I just like the way I like the flavor of the potato greens when it is fried instead of when it is steamed. It was a little difference, but not too big of a difference where it's like, oh my God, this is horrible. But just a little difference where you would know. So as always, I'm going to start off by blending my onion, peppers. I'm going to steam up all of my meats, and once that's done, this is the broth that I got from steaming the meats. What I did with the leftover broth was I froze it. I usually use it when I am cooking like fried rice or things that require broth. I don't use store-bought broth, so this is my alternative. I wash the potato greens because I bought it pre-cut, and sometimes like you do have to double wash just in case like you find sand on it if they don't wash it properly. So that is why I did that. But if you are using fresh potato greens that you cut yourself, of course you're not going to need to wash it after you've already cut it. I only did this because this was pre-cut and pre-bought. Here's everything, all my stations ready. I am ready to work. What I wanted to do was add the palm oil and then fry the potato greens first, but I wasn't paying attention and I ended up frying the onions and stuff first. That was an error, so do the reverse. Once you add your red palm oil into the pot, fry your potato greens and then add your blended vegetables, onion, bell peppers, and all of that good stuff, and you're going to let it fry. I really like the flavor of, or what the potato greens taste like when it is fried versus when it is steamed. They both cooked well, they both cooked really good, but there's a slight difference between steaming and frying it and then adding everything together. So once I just let this fry, I season it with the same thing I seasoned the last potato greens with: salt, black pepper, garlic powder, pepper. And then once that fried for about a few minutes or 10 minutes, I then added my steamed protein into the potato greens, and I am going to let that cook. This was a bigger batch, and as this was cooking, I think I added about 2 cups of water. It looks like a lot, but it wasn't, of the broth, sorry. You don't want to add too much because you don't want it to overcook. You don't want your potato greens to be soggy, and it will produce its own water. And you're just going to let this fry down on medium heat until all of the water evaporates, and it is done. I don't know if you can see the difference between what the greens look like when it is fried versus what the greens look like when it was steamed earlier, and that's just what I did. You can see throughout the potato greens, you can see the water boiling, and we're just going to let that fry down until it is done. It is super easy. If you have any questions, please shoot them in the comments below. If anything that wasn't explained well, I will usually get back to you within like 24 hours, sometimes less, sometimes instantly. And that was it for the second method. I just let it fry down until it was done or the potato greens was soft, and then I served it up with rice and I enjoyed it. I really love potato greens. It's one of my favorite greens. I can eat it like every week if you allowed me to. And this was it. And towards the end, I added this dried fish in there just to give it like a little kick, a little flavor, and that was it. And this potato greens is just plain potato greens. It's not mixed with anything. And I hope you give this a shot. I hope you like it. If you have tried the other method, try this one and see how it works. If you normally steam your broth and then add your potato greens into the broth, let me know which one you like best. Do you notice the flavor? Do you notice a change in when you fry versus steam? Let me know in the comments below. If there are anything that I missed, I will update the caption. And that is our potato greens for today. And I am also running a Liberia food series on Instagram. If you are watching this video was May July 2nd, 2026, and we are dedicating this month to Liberia, and I hope you give this a try and let me know how you like it. Until our next recipe,